Villa Vidya Mandir and Longview Public School for sending the young students to us. And children, these stories are for you to take them forward to the next level. Thank you. A reminder once again that all the authors are here for you to sign their books. And please make your memories, take photographs with them. The venue has been decorated so that you can have very good memories of yours as well as your favorite authors. Now, at the Authors Lounge, you'll find Padma Shri Pushpesh Pant ji, our festival mentor, and he is here to sign books for you whenever you want. Our next author today is Madhuri Kumari Singh, an alumni of the Film and Television Institute of India. She is an actor who's trained under Nasiruddin Shah and Sri Ram Gopal Bajaj. She is also a wellness enthusiast and a certified yoga teacher. You will find her also there. Our next session is The Accused. Some stories begin with triumph, others begin with an accusation. And once that accusation enters the room, truth, reputation, and justice are never quite the same again. This session promises a compelling exploration of perception, doubt, and consequences. We welcome Vasundhara, an actor, author, and artist whose creative work spans performance, storytelling, and visual expression. Thank you. Joining her is Avkirat Chabba Dyal, who brings her own perspective to this engaging conversation on reputation, justice, and the powerful narratives that shape public opinion.
Good morning, everyone. As you already know, Vasundhara is an actress, and we are here for her debut novel, The Accused. So, Vasundhara, can we talk about your journey from an actor to an author?
Yeah, that sounds fun. You want to have coffee first? I think writing for me has been primary. I've been a reader since, well, my parents, my mother is an avid reader. My entire family is. And when we used to go shopping for Diwali or like Tamil New Year or whatever, my mum would get toys for my younger cousin and my older cousin, and she would get me books. And that would annoy me so much because I was like, I also want to play. I also want like the latest dolls, the latest Hot Wheels car and all of that. But my mum said that if you're a reader, you don't need anything else. You have your own mind. And that is fun enough. I got into reading with, I think like anybody else, there was a series called Peter and Jane when I was very young. I don't know if anybody here has read it, but that was that series. And then we slowly moved on to Enid Blyton and like we all have, Nancy Drew, Hardy Boys. And at 13, I had written my first sci-fi novel. I used to watch a lot of anime, so the inspiration came naturally. My computer got a blue screen and the novel vanished. I did not know you had to back it up. I did not know how to recover it, none of that. But I didn't give up. I just kept writing. And I've written a lot of poetry, a lot of sad teenage heartbreak nonsense poetry. Yeah. But I think I finally got the courage to send this book across after writing 2 more before this. And thankfully it was accepted, otherwise I would have been crushed. And I think people keep asking me if I'm now an author, not an actor anymore, but I feel like without being an actor, I don't think I would have been able to write these characters the way I have. So I am both, but the journey has been the most fun.
So, did you grow up watching Savdhan India and CID and all of those? Because you've picked, thriller as your debut novel.
I have not, I hadn't even heard of these till now. Like CID, yeah, but Savdhan India, I've not, because again, I'm from Chennai, we've not heard of this, but there was this Tuppariyum Sambu, there was one book, which is like quite old, which is basically Detective Shamu.
Because when I was reading the book, it took me back to those CID days. Okay, a murder's happened and everybody's on the trail, on the go.
Yeah.
And parallel, narratives happening. So that took me back to Savdhan India and, the crime.
I should probably watch it. Yeah, I should probably watch it. But no, that was not it. For me, it was, I know, so crimes happen all the time. The news is more entertaining than real life at this point. And local news, especially regional news, is insanely entertaining. You cannot believe what's going on through the minds of these people. So for me, it was like, yeah, something's happened, somebody's dead, but why? Kya hua? Piche kya hua? Like, what is the story behind this crime that was committed? Because I am 100% sure it is not what people are saying it is. And people always like to talk, na? They know everything, even though they don't know anything. So for me, it was like, why? Not necessarily any other show that has inspired me. But you know, when you get to the end of the novel where they're like, if it wasn't for those meddling kids kind of thing, and they say why they did that, that's the most exciting part for me.
So it's said normally stories and characters are born out of people that we know of or we've come in contact with. So tell us about coming together of all your characters in the novel.
I think my characters come together in the most bizarre way. It's very unexpected. You don't expect a one hit wonder Bollywood heroine who decided to marry the first producer who proposed to her to get together with a local Chennai cop to solve a crime. Like, she's not even here, but that's what happens. And I like things being unexpected because what is life if not, you know, if you can predict everything, there's no fun in it. So my characters come together in a very unexpected, unpredictable way. And I feel like that is what makes it interesting. And I wanted to pair characters that are completely flawed, but in thoroughly different ways. And they come together and they kind of exacerbate each other's, shortcomings.
So there are very strong themes of scandal, dangerous power of online narratives, social media, and so what is your take on this?
Scandal, social media, and narrative. There is no escaping Instagram. There is no escaping Meta. There is no escaping Google. There is no escaping your phone. You can be somebody who wants to put their phone down and just live their life, but one way or the other, they'll be like, OTP aayega, madam. Give me the OTP. Even if you don't want, like recently, I had to return a shirt. And I'm here, and I've given the shirt to my stylist for her to return it. And I'm not able to return it because OTP aayega. Is there a signal nahi hai? So there's no OTP that's coming. For me, it's like there is no escaping technology. And despite the fact that there is so much good that comes from technology, you see these, GoFundMes, you see Kickstarters, you see people saving each other's lives. But then the bad always triumphs, especially in Kali Yuga or whatever.
Being constantly exposed to news and social media, we start having our own theories and opinions. And then we get so fixated and start believing on hearsay. And similar is the theme in the book. So can we elaborate on that?
For me, I'm an actor, primarily an actor. I've been acting since I was in school. And it's been very interesting how people act like they know their favorite celebrities. It's like they know, okay, so in Tamil, actor Vijay, actor Rajinikanth, Kamal Hassan, these people are very big. And everybody's like, yeah, Anna, like, mera bhai hai. Like, I know him. He won't do this. I know him. He's like this. They act, there's this kind of celebrity worship where you believe that you know the person. And when a crime happens, the same thing happens because they're not a famous person, they're an infamous person. They're still a celebrity. Not in a good way, but And the thing that happens is that they're like, I know this is what happened. I know this type of woman. And it is always targeted at the women. Sorry to start the session of male bashing early. But it's always targeted at the women. It's always like, women are like this only. Yeah, we know. We shouldn't have given them freedom. So it feels like they just grab the opportunity to kind of be fake historians and say everything that happened beforehand, even though they're probably 1,000 miles away living somewhere and just watching some serial that comes in the afternoon. So social media and this whole narrative where you people start feeling like, what is happening comes from the simple fact that we don't know if the person who's actually tweeting about it, making Facebook posts about it, making Instagram reels about it, actually knows what happened. We don't know. But we believe them because they act.
So let's talk about the characters in the book. Let's start with Inspector Rakesh. Let's talk about him.
So my Inspector Rakesh, I'm a very big fan of my Inspector Rakesh because he's an absolute bumbling idiot. You expect these cops like James Bond heroic hair, like he's going to come solve the whole day in like one sweep. He's going to get these these Japanese detective novels where they just know what has happened by just some one speck of dust that has fallen in the wrong area. No, he's not that. So Inspector Rakesh wakes up one morning and realizes that his first love, which has failed miserably, her husband has been murdered. And subconsciously, he decides that this is his chance. Usko hero banna hai. He's going to go solve the case, save the day, and make her regret rejecting him. Unfortunately, he doesn't have the skills to back it up. He can't even make a cup of coffee properly. He is that typical Indian guy. Once again, I apologize. And he somehow spectacularly messes up everything within the first 2-3 days, which is the most important time of solving a crime. And hopefully he redeems himself. We will see that when the book happens. But I was inspired by these guys who act like they know everything, and when you counter what they say with a fact, say you are an expert on a subject or you know an expert on a subject, and you counter them with a fact, they get egotistical about it. So for me, it was inspired by him. But what if he genuinely believes he knows it and is not egotistical? Like he genuinely cannot believe that he was wrong. Because he's like, no, it cannot be like this. So that was my inspiration for Rakesh.
The characters are so real and yet so complex. So coming to Pooja Reddy, let's talk about her life.
See, as an actor, the first question that everybody asks me, because one of my characters is an actor, oh, are you Pooja? Like, I've not seen a single interview where any other like male author has been asked this question, but it is a commonality when it comes to women. Were you inspired by yourself? Were you inspired by somebody in your life? I was inspired by a commonality that I have seen across my industry, wherein somebody gets into a field with high hopes and stardom, glamour, this is going to be fantastic. And then when reality hits, they start panicking and they don't know what to do. So they backtrack. They still want to be in the field, but they backtrack to a safe space. And that is what Pooja Reddy has done. She is ambitious, but she's not cutthroat. She has dreams, but she's not got the shrewdness, that chaluness to succeed in certain fields. You need that. You don't just need talent. And Pooja Reddy currently is looking for an identity for herself. And for her, has to be something beyond panic marrying the first producer who proposed to her, because she wanted to be safe. And of course, he's having affair after affair, so as it is.
I have a question for that. She was in such a toxic relationship and she moved out of her house, and towards the end, she does go back. Why?
This is actually a question that someone has also asked me, because as they say, that I'm a rabid feminist.
Personally, I wasn't happy with that.
Yeah, I wasn't happy with it either. But for me, the thing is,
Irrespective of domestic violence, abuse, rape, everything, she just decides to go back to him. Why?
yeah, because that's what people do. People don't leave. They don't leave when they have to leave. If they left the first time they see a red flag, if a woman left an abusive relationship, the first time they saw a red flag, then there wouldn't be any news. And in reality, it takes a lot. It takes repeated incidents. It takes a breaking point for you to actually leave.
But did you have that in mind of her going back to that toxic relationship or her walking out of it? Was that part of the story as well?
Originally, I wanted to stick to my guns and make her leave. But I
Were
thought,
you made to edit that bit?
no, I was not. I just decided that let me think like Pooja. Pooja is a woman who got into acting. She ran away from home. She just took a train one day from Chennai to Bombay and decided she's going to become an actress. I'm heroine bani. I'm going to become a heroine. I want to become top heroine. Like, she's good, she's talented, she's a great actor, blah, blah, blah. The first movie is a big hit. And she decides that because the first movie is a big hit, it's going to be a smooth journey for her. Smooth sailing, no issues, no troubles, no speed bumps. But that doesn't happen. That's not how the world works. No matter how successful you are still going to have speed bumps. And when it comes to women, the speed bumps are different. They are a different kind of issue. There's additional 100% of a completely different area that I don't want to mention because there are youngsters here. And she is still searching for who she is. There's a line in the book where Sanjay says, remember, you are nothing without me. You're just a one-hit wonder. And the only reason you are still relevant is because you're married to me. And that hits her, because at the end of the day, she's just a pretty housewife. And let's be honest, we don't give housewives the value they deserve. So for her, it's like, do I go back or do I stay and suffer? And then something happens where she realizes that she's not in a place financially, emotionally, in a very practical way, she's not in a place for her to actually leave.
I think that's how majority of the women just give in.
They just stay. Yeah.
It's easier said than done to get out, but I think they just gravitate back.
She also doesn't have the support system one would need.
So she starts a podcast called The Accused. And what she says is, this isn't an investigative podcast. We're not here to challenge the official investigation. What we offer instead is a voice to those who are being judged by strangers, the public, the channels that claim to telecast news. We're here to show you the other side of the coin, to speak for the voiceless and to let you know that behind every sensational story are things no one talks about. So have you thought on starting a podcast yourself, on bringing forward these narratives?
On bringing forward these narratives, no. But I have started a podcast. I wanted to have some sort of knowledge on how a podcast would work and how, like, I don't even know what buttons to click on a website. I just needed to know the basics. So I had written a few short stories during COVID, and they were about COVID. And let's be honest, nobody wants to listen to that depressing crap like years later. So I decided to convert that into like a 6 short stories, like an audio book kind of thing, but I made it in podcast form just to see how it functions, just to see how you see the stats, how you see everything, and how you promote it and all of that. So I just wanted a small bit of experience because I can't write something that I don't know about. So I did that. I may start a podcast. It's not going to be an investigative one. It's going to be creative ones, basically primarily focusing on female creatives if I do that. And that would be in the future. But yeah, I did start a podcast, but that was only for like, research purposes.
Do you plan to continue?
The podcast? That one, no. But another one, maybe. I'm trying to get my house aesthetic. आपको पता है ना, आजकल you have to have everything aesthetic and pretty and like beige color, pink color, all that has to be there for it to look nice. Otherwise, nobody clicks your damn videos. So once I manage to do that, I will start a podcast.
What is your take on armchair detectives that I think most of us are?
I think it's fine as long as it is to satisfy your own curiosity. I do not think it is fine if it is your goal to feel like you're better than somebody else just because you think you know what they did or who they are. There was this Netflix documentary about, there was a cat that was murdered. And there was a Netflix documentary where everybody on Reddit got together to find out who that guy was. And they found him. Like, it took a long time, but they found out who he was. In those cases, I'm sorry, when it comes to animals, I think we need a lot of armchair keyboard warrior kind of people. But when it comes to people, you do not know the emotions involved, the complications involved. So for fun, yeah. Otherwise, I mean, I do listen to a lot of murder podcasts. So
Very important excerpt that I want to read from the book. And would you like to read it?
no, Yuri, I don't have glasses.
Okay, so this is about this politician and the entire kahani revolves around him. So we must divert the media's attention, the minister continued. Find out what else is happening in the city and let me know immediately. No accidents, of course. The media will club the two events together. There has to be something else. Drugs, rape, fraud, anything. He got up and turned towards the stairs before giving one last instruction. Money, wait, nothing about children dying either. So that is how crime which has been committed is very slyly covered.
I think the recent Epstein,
The real India today.
yeah, not just India, worldwide. Because if you consider the Epstein files, sorry to bring up such a morose topic, we have to talk about it.
But you have talked about human trafficking.
I have talked about a lot of things, yeah,
And it did
assault,
take
human
me
trafficking,
back to
domestic
the-
abuse, a lot of that, yeah. But you realize that the conspiracy theorists were right. And I feel like an idiot for laughing at these people. I'm like, hey, you're so jobless, you're thinking up all these nonsense. And they were right. Like, everybody's talking about these weird theories, they're screenshots from like 20 years ago and like article snippets from 20 years ago. And turns out that the mad tinfoil hat wearers were actually right about the Epstein files. So when it comes to, I kind of believe it a little bit. Like, have you not noticed that when some really insane news comes, there's always a random scandal that we don't even know who this person is. Suddenly they are on the news. For me, I keep noticing this all the time. And when you're privy to discussions of, the publicity, movie publicities and things like that, we do use people to publicize films. We do use people to publicize albums. And why the hell not? Why can't we use them for other things? They probably are being used. It makes sense to me, which is why I realized that, okay, this is probably how you get the most random trending hashtags and stuff.
So did the editors of the publishing house have any problem with you being so straightforward and so blunt by just putting it right there?
No, I've had the best experience with my editors. I absolutely love them, and they seem to enjoy my blatant disregard for social niceties.
How did you balance the narratives, two different stories together?
This is not going to be a
This
very
is-
intellectual, creative answer. I just did inky ponky and then chose. That is, I mean, I hate it's decision fatigue. Yeah, you're making so many decisions about a story. I was like, okay, you know what? Today I will write this person. Then I was like, flip a coin. Tomorrow I will write this person. That's all I did. Editing was horrible, so don't do that. Because once I wrote the first draft, the editing was so exhausting that I'm not going to do that again. But for my first book, I feel like, yeah, I just decided to figure out who I'm going to write about and what I'm going to write about when, depending on my, again, inky pinky ponky. I don't know if you youngsters know this inky pinky thing, but yeah.
So, being an actress yourself, when you read, I'd call it garbage online, do you go down the spiral or you're completely oblivious to anything or anything that's happening on social media?
See, I have a I have an advantage in this aspect. I forget my glasses half the time. So I can't read what is written. But jokes aside, no, I have someone handling my social media because I refuse to let someone else's joblessness or someone else's bad mood ruin my day. And honestly speaking, I don't think anybody is as harsh when it comes to judging me as I am when it comes to judging myself. If I listen to what I think of myself, then I wouldn't get out of my house any day. So I feel like अरे सोच के देख यार, how jobless are you that you have to come leave a comment? Take the time and effort and type out a negative comment on somebody else's profile. What do you get? What do you get? Are you such a small person that this gives you happiness? And then when you think of it like that, just imagine this, basement dweller or whoever just hunched over his keyboard saying, oh, she's posted a picture, she feels nice about herself, let me leave something nasty comment. Just imagine this person and you're like, gee, you start ignoring them. See, it comes from me because again, I'm an actor, so I can imagine the scenes, yeah.
Which part of the book was very difficult for you to pen down?
The scene that you mentioned with Pooja. So sorry, not scene, the chapter. The chapter that you mentioned with Pooja, the reason she leaves, it took me a month to finish that. Even though it's a very short chapter, even though it's not graphic, even though it's very subtly put, I kept going to other chapters because writing about something where you're supposed to be safe. This is your place of residence. You're
You've
supposed to be
also written
safe.
about human trafficking.
Yeah. That wasn't that hard for me because, again, I feel like we become immunized to this because of the news. But this,
Absolutely.
yeah. But writing about a woman's personal experience with somebody that she's supposed to trust in a place where she's supposed to feel safe. Like if you're not safe in your own house, where are you safe? For me, that was very hard. It took a lot of tears. It took a lot of writing, rewriting, deleting. It was hard. That was a very difficult chapter for me to write. Yes.
I've been shown placards, so I think we open questions to the audience now.
Yes.
Okay, Avkirat, you've already done a brilliant job, so I don't have any specific questions about the book, but I must ask you, Vasu. When you told your mum that your first book ever your first novel ever would have a dead body in it, what was her reaction? Because my dad clearly wasn't thrilled when I told him.
Oh, my mom reads more gruesome thrillers than I do. I get my taste from her. She's like, that's all you're writing? It's not graphic enough. Yeah, my mom is.
Wow.
I love her. Any other questions? Okay, there we go.
Ma'am, what helped you more in your writing? Your reading since childhood or your acting?
My
experience?
acting. So there's a scene in which Inspector Rakesh gets tied up. I was talking to you about that. So instead of just imagining what it's like to be tied up, I had someone come. I sat in a chair. They tied me up, and I had to get out of it. It took me so long. Finally, I started crying and had somebody remove me. But I tried it a couple of times, and after that, after falling and hurting my wrists and my fingers and all, I managed to get out of it. Yeah, which is all there in that chapter.
What does the word acting signifies, and also what does the acting mean for you? It is a presentation of emotion, or it is a presentation of personality of a protagonist?
For acting,
Yes, ma'am.
you have a very interesting voice, by the way. It's very nice. You should again narrate audiobooks later. I'm a very lazy person when it comes to acting, meaning I'm a method actor. I can't be laughing and joking around before a scene and then jump into it immediately if it's a difficult scene. So I've taken the easy way out by just going into method acting, but for me, it is about what the character has experienced up to that point. It is not the personality, none of that. It is just if this person has lived this life, lived this journey in this region, and gone through this much, then that it is.
Even psychologically, why we always find a girl ending up with a man who is so macho, muscular, and beat the shit out of another person, and not a man who can give her a princess treatment. Only the man who is so muscular, masculinity, and even today when we talk about all the concepts that you have dealt today, why we always watch those kinds of movies which has that part. And even today, when I watch movie, that's a very prominent scene and a very prominent story that it has. So what do you have to say about it?
These movies are made by men. And if you consider that the best thing they think a man has to offer is muscles, I think that says enough. But if you notice the books written by women, the men actually have personalities. We don't go for the gym bro. The gym bro is just for fun. Kids, don't listen to me right now. But the gym bro is just for fun. We go for the kind guy, the empathetic guy, the nice guy. And I'm not going to say what I'm actually thinking because I don't want to get cancelled. So I'm going to keep quiet. But I feel like this is what men think women want. And somehow they always ask men what other men think women want. Even though we say this is what we want, they don't pay attention to us. So for me, that's a little weird. But I feel like male directors, that's what they think women want. Even though I'd rather have a guy who looks like he enjoys pizza. Yeah, that's what I want. I don't want a guy who looks like he's on diet every single day. Cutting face nahi chahiye mujhe. I want bulking face. Thank you.
Thank you, Vasundhara and Avkirat. That was very sharp and thought-provoking. Yeah. Sometimes the most difficult question is not who is accused, but how quickly the world decides what to believe. That is, I think, the message today. So now I request Devika Arora ma'am to please come and facilitate our speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, the facilitation is going on. Please give them a big round of applause. Thank you so much.